What's up everyone, how are you doing? And I hope you're enjoying set 2 so far. So what I have for you today is a tier list. I want to start with you guys very basic. That means I will just drop you guys a tier list with 5 to 1 cost units, explain it a little bit because I always think just dropping the tier list cannot, let's say it doesn't explain all of my thoughts, it doesn't give you the input you maybe are searching for. And what I want to do with these videos is specifically get you out of the fog and the confusion you get when you start with the set. So what I made for you here is just basic tier list, basic stuff. I will start with you guys at the very beginning, and when we say get more advanced with the set, get more let's say comfy with the compositions, we can go a little bit deeper into the compositions, into the units themselves, but let's just start here. So I will just go over everything a little bit. There will be nothing too deep, it's just a small tier list. You will also get a link below, or check out my Discord, you will see that there. And there we go. Very quick guys, let's go. 1 gold. I think Diana is just very strong. I think basically overstated, you can play her for so long. Super insane. Also got a nice assassin and inferno trait. Very strong unit. Ivern and Maokai are basically there because they have the woodland druid trait, which is, if you get it early on, the perfect front line. There really, you don't need to say more about this. These woodland and druid synergy early on is so strong. I will also make a synergy tier list, but step by step, guys. So there is it to these two. If you get these early on, you have to get them with the woodland and the druid synergy. Sometimes it's also enough to just get the druids. You don't need the woodlands, but it's very good if you have an upgraded woodland and can upgrade it and copy it. So Narcissus and Wayne are basically there because they are part of the hyper roll light composition. The units themselves are not bad, especially Narcissus. I think Wayne is alright. It's just that 6 lights, if you hyper roll them, get a Narcissus free, is super insane. They all benefit from the health a lot. I think, let's say if you just, as a standalone unit, they're okay. I wouldn't say they're better than Syra or Vladimir though, but I put them there because you can transition out of them into the late game a little bit. So it's kind of alright. I don't mind it. We get Syra and Vladimir. I would say the reason why I put them there is not because you can transition out of them insanely. It's just they're okay units. They're solid in the early game. They can carry you a little bit. And that's why I have them here. I usually don't do any hyper roll shenanigans with them. I just think they're decent units. And then we also come to the bit worse units like Ornn. Ornn is okay. He has the, I think there are some electric compositions. I just think standalone he's not very good. I just also don't think he's super bad like other units which are coming now. Like when we talk about Kog'Maw and let's say Taliyah, or I mean Warwick might be even a bit playable because he's a predator, but I rarely pick those up. The problem is with the predators, you have to kind of hyper roll them with the berserkers, and I don't think these units are super great early on. I rather have some super good standalone units like the Woodlands or Diana, and then transition directly into some good 2 costs or the 3 costs, which I think are personally one of the better units in this set. If you guys have any questions about any unit or let's say any composition, just ask me below. By the way, I will usually answer it. Try to answer all your questions, especially about a set. Let's go straight into 2 drops. We have Malzahar. Shadow is broken, best trait by far, and him being also super overstated makes him the best 2 drop by quite a mile. It's actually crazy. There is nothing coming after him. Best 2 drop, pick him up, play him with Shadow, super good. What else do we have? We have Jax. Jax is basically the set's new Shen. He is super good with the Iceborne Gauntlet, a nice item carry, and you can play him in Hyperroll Lights, which makes me rate him very high. I think it's a super good unit, super nice frontliner. I pick him up very often. We have Varus. I think Varus set 1 is very similar to Varus set 2. You have maybe... you don't have like Sorcerers, which makes it a bit weird because you play them very often in set 1 with Sorks. But he's just nice. He gives you a nice damage spike if you upgrade him, especially if you can also grab a Kindred. So I think Varus is alright. I like him. The reason why Nico and LeBlanc are there, I don't even know how you pronounce it, is the Woodland trade. I think Woodland is very strong early on. That's why I have them there. They fall off, I would say, after the Wolves very hard, but before the these phases were very viable. Like them a lot. Yasuo is basically there, because, not of the unit himself, because of the unit himself. He's an okay unit, but I think it's the traits he has. He has the Blade Master trait, which I think is one of the strongest synergies in the game at the moment. And he also has the Cloud trait. And that's why I put him here. Not because he's very strong standalone, because his synergies are so nice. Volibear. Honestly, sometimes I play games with Volibear 3-star when I can get him, and it's actually very strong. If I play Voli, it's mostly because I hyper roll and play with Berserkers and then with Olaf and such. I think he's an alright unit. I also don't think Electrics are bad. Let's move on to the verse units. Honestly, I almost never play those. Maybe Rek'Sai if I need the steal. But Syndra is very mediocre. Ocean Mage just also not being a good synergy. Don't forget, I also rate a lot of these units like this because I think about how can you transition out of them, how good are they standalone. These are like two factors which are very important to me, because let's say you pick up a unit, 2 cost, and you are setting up for a comp, and let's say you sell it again very quickly because, I don't know, you don't profit from the Blade Master trade in your mid game or the Berserkers, and you have to sell it very quickly. It just costs you so much money, and you want to have like units you can play as long as possible and then sell them. This is what makes a unit good for me. Like Rek'Sai for me is alright early game, but falls off very quickly. Same with Skarner and Braum and Trash. I mean, Braum sometimes if you play with Glacial. I haven't found a good Glacial comp yet. That's also why I put these guys lower. I don't think they're individually super strong. I also don't think the transitioning value is big. So let's come to the free cost unit. I think free costs are very, very good in this set. So you might want to achieve the level 6 very quickly or level 5, because I think Kindred is so broken. The shadow units, you see they're all very high rated, like Master Yi, Kindred. I think Shadow is really, really good, and therefore Kindred is there by quite a mile. Super broken, it has Ranger, Shadow, and Inferno. That unit is just super. It's super good. It's like the Shadow Fiend in Auto Chess, the old one. Sion, very good damage. It's a Shadow unit, gives you synergy with Malzahar and with Kindred. I love him. Azir has the desert trait, which is good. You want to have 2 deserts very often. And here is a very good item carry. And that's also something I keep in mind when I'm doing this kind of rundowns on tier lists. Also, how good can these units carry items? Azir is super sweet. If you stack him with Rage Blade, oh yes, that's what I want to see. Let's move on into her. It's Quijana. I actually, guys, if I pronounce these names wrong, please. I will need to play the set too, way more often to do these names right. She's super good. She gives you a super good stun, and she gets attack and elemental tag according to the field you play. So if you play on mountain, she's mountain. If you play on cloud, she's cloud. And she's just very, very good. Her stun is insane. Very good damage. Pick her up if you can, if she kind of fits your comp. We have Sivir. Sivir is a Blade Master, very good synergy. She has very good damage. She's a nice item carry, and she has a desert tag. If you can 3-star her and put a hurricane on her with, for example, a giant slayer, with her ultimate you get the double proc. So the reason why I have her there is she can be quite an insane item carry and a good carry overall. I like her a lot, and her traits. Blade Masters are just good in this set. The reason why I have Mundo there, mainly because I think poison is sweet to counter some things. I think himself, he's also a decent unit. I don't think berserkers are bad. If you want to counter spellcaster comms or summoner comms, for example Sad, and you have poisons with Mundo, pick him up. It's very, very nice. Nocturne, solid unit. I think he's not as broken as some people think. They also adjusted his strength. He's okay, decent assassin. If you go 6 assassins, he becomes really, really strong. Can be also nice mid-game item carry. About Nautilus, we don't need to say much. I think he's just a nice tank. That's it. With Aatrox and Soraka, the reason why I put him there, I mean, Aatrox is okay. He's a Blade Master in Light, so you can play him in the Hyper Roll Light comp. Himself, he does more spell damage than physical damage. That's really why I don't see him as a Blade Master himself. And Soraka, yeah, she gets this plus point for being a Mystic. I don't think her ulti is very good. I put her there because of the synergies, so... I think Veigar sometimes has its place, and especially when he's 3-star, he can like just wreck some compositions, but it's so bad against summoners, his ult, and that's why I put him here. I also don't think mages are great. He's a shadow, that's why he gets some extra points, but it's usually not the shadow you search for, because he does not do any physical damage, and his ult just over damages then. Ezreal is, yeah, don't like Ezreal too much. I think it's the worst ranger. He deals very little damage. There's just better stuff. I don't think rangers are the best trade in the game as well. So yeah, usually I don't pick him up. Let's go to 4 costs. We have Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix just has a desert trait and is a very good utility assassin. He deals a lot of damage. Is a nice item carry, for example, for Seraphs. I think the unit is actually nuts. They buffed him last patch as well, so that's great. Good unit. Jenna is basically there. She's a very good crowd control. She has the cloud and the mystic tag, which is super good. That's all that I need to tell you there. Yorick is there, part of the Hyper comp. He's very good standalone. You can just splash him into a lot of compositions. I love that unit. Yorick is very, very good. The reason why Olaf is there and maybe not higher is he's bugged at the moment. He sometimes doesn't get mana, but I think once they fix the bug, he's great. You can make him a super good... It's the melee Draven for me in the new set. He's so good. You definitely want to try him. Maybe patch him, so... Let's go on. We have Brand. Brand is just the best mage, I think, in the set. He has a lot of damage. It's basically old Brand, but now he has the mage and Inferno tag instead of the other one. So Brand is just solid. I like him a lot. Can be a lot of damage. Can be hard countered by Mystics sometimes. And against summoners, you know, the bounces on the summons, not ideal. Annie. It has the Tibbers can be super tanky and also deal a lot of damage. I think she's solid. Not like super good, but just a solid 4-drop. It's not like a unit I would never pick up. Malphite, very similar to Nautilus. Just a tank. Can be alright. I don't think it's like super broken though. I think there are better units, for example. I have Ash and Twitch a bit lower because Twitch, sure, he has the poison tag. He can go super ham if you give him items, but honestly, these two units need items, otherwise they're not great. And I think also Rangers overall in this set, they are on the lower power spike end, so I don't love them. That's why I put them there. Let's go to 5 drops. Master Yi is a Shadow, he's a Blade Master, and he's a Mystic, and he deals a lot of damage. That's great, right? Yeah. Master Yi is very good. Super good unit. It's like the Super Yasuo from the old set. We have Lux. Lux just gives you the hyper and broken elemental synergies like 4 Cloud or 6 light or 9 light. It's so strong. If you get, or foreshadow, if you get a according lux fitting to your composition, you pick that up. Super nice. We have a Nami. Nami is just sweet. She's ocean, which is not great, but she's a mystic and her ult is super good. She basically, if you position her right, she crowd controls the whole board, plus you get extra damage. Super good unit, super good 5 cost. The reason why I put Singed there is he's a very good item carry. If your 2-star is Singed, give him Morello or an Iceborne with Phantom Dance or something like this. He is so good. And the main reason for that is also because he messes with the AI of the opponent units and he never stops moving. He's still great. I think Singed is very, very nice still. Set is there because, well, he needs items. That can be problematic. Without items, he can be super bad. With items, he can literally be insane. So, yeah. The reason with 5 costs why I also put them like higher and lower is like, let's say for a Taric, if you 2-star him, he can be super good. Same with Zed, but you also want 5 costs kind of be already okay at 1 cost. And Taric and Zed are not okay if 1-star. So that's a problem. I think the tier list is alright. I will drop you guys a link below. And if you got any questions to how I ordered my tiers here or my units, and if you want to have a specific unit spotlight, just write it below, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a comment or a like if you liked the video, guys. Gonna see you tomorrow, next video.